Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. This is the Sikh History Series podcast, Season 5, The Shaheedi of the Chote Sahibzade, Episode 4, The Shaheedi. The Chote Sahibzade are standing strong in the court of the malicious and cruel Wazir Khan. The young heroes have withgone immense torture, being whipped, burnt and stoned. They remain unaffected by the friendly pursuits, the bribes, the offers, the lalach. They remain unaffected by the immense intimidation, the threats and the lies presented. The whole court are astounded and astonished with the courage, persistency and fearlessness of the Sahibzade of Guru Gobind Singh. Wazir Khan and Suchanand and the Ghazis are beside themselves, having lost in their own court. Unable to intimidate the 7 and 9-year-old Sahibzade, unable to convert them to Islam, unable to get them to say salam, unable to get them to bow their heads. They have lost their self-control and they are enraged and angry, and this is burning and consuming them inside. They give the fatwa. The Sahibzade are now to be tortured and killed, and this will happen the next day. They will be bricked alive. That night the Sahibzade again, and for the last time, sit with Mata Gujari. She holds her beloved grandchildren close and she gives them courage through the sakya of our elders, through the sakhi of the Shaheed Singhs, through the sakya of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj and of Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj. She is proud that the Sahibzade are holding their faith and dharam strong, proud of their Sikhi. Their bodies are battered and beaten, their clothes are wet, drenched in blood, and the cold winds howl and blow. The marks from the whipping and stoning are evident on their bodies, their hands scarred from being burnt. But there is no crying, there is no whimpering, there is no worry or anxiety, there is only meditation on the divine name, Vaheguru. And as they listen to the stories of their elders and the Gurus, whom are our everything, the most honourable Baba Muti Rahmera arrives again, as he has done every night without fail since the Sahibzade and Mataji have been here. He brings again the offering of hot milk for what would be the very last time. And this time he had to trade his whole house to bribe the guards, giving up and signing over his family home as a bribe so he can bring this offering, leaving himself and his family homeless. Because to him, the service of the Sahibzade and Mataji was everything. And I bow my head and I kiss the feet of such a son, such a beloved Sikh, who had so much love for the Guru Sahibzade. That night, Mataji does not sleep again. The whole night she watches over the Sahibzade, admiring their beauty, their courage and their faith. She herself is a saint of God and is absorbed in the divine name, Vaheguru. In the early hours of the frosty morning, the Sahibzade get ready, opening and retying their beautiful tall damale. Absorbed in meditation, they recite the Bani of the Guru from heart. And as the day comes, eventually the guards approach to take the Sahibzade onto their final journey. The large heavyweight guards are clad in black clothing, bearing swords and spears, and they inform Mataji the Sahibzade will be given one final chance today to embrace the Deen of Islam and bow before Wazir Khan. And if they don't, you will never see them again. Mataji holds the Sahibzade tight, giving them one final hug and instructing them to go forth and sacrifice, be the torch of Sikhi in this dark age. Join Guru Arjan Dev Ji and Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. And as they leave, they tell her, everything is in the will of Akal Purakh Vaheguru. The Sahibzade pay respect to their grandmother and she blesses them. How beautiful do the Sahibzade look as they stand ready to go on their final journey. Faces radiant with the love of Waheguru. The Male and Galgia looking exquisite. And as they leave, Mata Ji recites the following Dohra Shabad, written by her son Guru Gobind Singh Ji about his father, her husband, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. Dohra Theekar for dili sir, Prabhur kiya pyan, Tegh Bahadur siri kriya, Kari na kinhu aan, Tegh Bahadur ke chalat, Bhayo jagat ko sok, hai sab jag payo, jai 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 surlok. Breaking the body, the picture on the head of the king of Delhi, Aurangzeb. He, the venerable, the epitome of mercy, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, left for the abode of the Lord Waheguru. No one else could perform the great act that was done by Guru Tegh Bahadur. And as soon as the Guru left, the world became full of grief. Cries of distress were heard all around, ha, 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 whereas the heavens resounded, and there was applause and glory, angels singing glory, 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 Jai, Jai, Jai. And in the court of Wazir Khan, the Sahibzade again roar like tigers. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. The spirit of the Mughals is broken, as they know they cannot put fear into the Sahibzade of Guru Gobind Singh. They have tried everything, and now the time has come. The execution, the fatwa, the murder of the young 7 and 9-year-old Sahibzade is to commence. The news of the verdict, the fatwa, to break alive the young children of the Guru has spread throughout Sirhind, and people are disgusted. Todarmal, a local and wealthy Sikh, even appears in the court to appeal to the reconsideration or delay of this fatwa, as the Sahibzade are minors, but this request was ignored. During the final attempt to influence the Sahibzade and get them to give in, they are separated. Each are spoken to and offered bribes and threatened again. Each are told lies about the other, trying to manipulate by misinforming them that the other Sahibzade has agreed to the conditions and has accepted the deen. But both Sahibzades stood their ground. They had full and complete faith in each other and in themselves. The Mughals, who were preparing for the execution, the murder, the fatwa to take place, are having extreme problems finding someone to execute the final murder itself, as most those in the courts were scared and did not agree with this inhumane cruelty. Suchanand persuades Shashan Beg and Bashan Beg, 2 heavyweight moralless killers who were serving jail time for multiple murders, to do this deed. For killing the young Sahibzade, they will receive a pardon. Shashan Beg and Bashan Beg were the nephews, the brothers' children of Jalaluddin, the executioner who swung his sword at Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji. And now these 2 killers, Shashan and Bashan, have started to construct the wall around the Sahibzade. The crowds watch. The faces of Zorawar Singh Ji and Baba Fateh Singh Ji only display bravery and firm resolve, and they start to recite Japji Sahib Ji aloud. When the wall reaches their knee height, the executioners are about to chip away at the brick to build the wall straight, tight to the Sahibzade's legs. But the Qazi stops them, says, "These bricks belong to the Mughal Empire. Do not dare damage these bricks. Instead, damage and slice their kneecaps and cut them off. But do not touch and harm the bricks of Islam. the bricks of our Raj. Slowly the wall was fully erected till it was just above Baba Zorawar Singh Ji's height, covering both the brave sons' faces. These sons of Guru Gobind Singh Ji now are still in the wall, and they are reciting Japji Sahib, and it can be heard from outside. Japji Sahib is completed and there is silence. And after a short while, the wall falls into pieces. Both Sahibzade are laying on the broken wall. They are still alive, barely breathing, semi-conscious at this time. Ice-cold water is thrown upon them. Regaining full consciousness, they are asked again to convert to Islam, and they both speak courageously, rejecting the Mughal pressures, and in high spirits they speak out, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. And the heavyweight executioners are then given the order, and they pull out their sharp daggers. Hands shivering, they step close to deliver the final blows, placing their knees on the chests of the young Sahibzade with all their body weight. Knees crushing down into the Sahibzade's chests, they then slice and cut the throats of the Sahibzade ear to ear. And the Sahibzade are now bleeding out, still alive for a few minutes as they bleed out and slowly attain their Shaheedi. The most sinful deed has been done. The heads of the Sahibzade are now hacked and cut off by Gyanand, who's a close associate of Suchanand. The bodies of the Sahibzade are taken and thrown in the jungle for wild animals and dogs to pick apart, scavenge and eat. However, in that jungle, a great lion approaches the bodies and stands guard by them until later on, when Durdarmal will come and take the bodies so he can perform the final funeral rites. Motiram Mehraji and Durdarmal go up to the Thanda Burj and they inform Mataji of the Shaheedi of her grandchildren, of the warrior Sahibzade. And upon hearing the sacrifice of her beloved young grandsons, she is at peace. She knows they held their dharam and their Sikhi intact. And she says, "Dear sons, you have performed this feat while I am yet still alive. You have sacrificed your heads for the dharam, for the truth and for Sikhi." And after saying this, Mataji closes her eyes the last time and slowly, with great love and affection, recites Japji Sahib, and after which Mataji breathes her last breath at that Thanda Burj and leaves her body to join the Sahibzade. And this brings us to the end of this episode of the Sikh History Series podcast. Please forgive the many mistakes made during this seva, and please do ardas that it may continue with the grace and kirpa of Akal Purkh. Bol chuk maaf karna ji. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.